Greg Sutton, Chief Academic Officer for Hardin County Schools, and thank you for joining us here on this session of Impacting Learning and Empowering Students. We always have a great guest here for you every month and kind of tell you about some things going on here in the district. And this month, we want you to know a little bit more about our alternative school programs director, Mr. Wes Blair. Mr. Blair, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, Mr. Sutton. I appreciate you having me.
Mr. Blair has been with the district a long time, but I'm going to let him kind of tell a little bit about himself and how long he's been here and some of the roles he's taken on for us. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure, absolutely. So, Mr. Sutton, I've been employed with the Hardin County School District for 18 years now. 18 years. I started off at Central Hardin High School as a social studies teacher. I also was a football coach there for 10 years. Then after that, I decided to take a chance and do something different. I went to become the lead facilitator for Hardin County High School. Okay. And back then, it was at the former Mulberry Helm Education Center. And then after that, I went to central office and took on the role as the home hospital coordinator for the district. And then after that, I came into my present position as the director of alternative programs, where presently I oversee many different things that provide a lot of different resources for at-risk youth. One of the hats that I wear is serving as a principal of some of our off-site district programs that most people probably don't know about. Right. Hardin County Day Treatment is owned and operated by the Department of Juvenile Justice, but we have a contract with them and we provide, being Hardin County Schools, we provide those educational services. Right. We employ 4 teachers as well as an attendance clerk there. And Hardin County Schools also provides transportation for those students. Wow. We also have Lincoln Trail Hospital, which is another off-site program. We employ 6 teachers there, as well as an instructional assistant and an attendance clerk. And then we have Spectrum Care Academy, which is also another privately funded entity that we contract with, and we provide 2 teachers out there as well. And then we have some other things that I serve as more of a director role. Hardin County High, the Excel Teenage Pregnancy Program. We have what we call eSchool for our adults distant learning program. Okay. And we have our home hospital program that I still oversee, and the Adult Ed GED. So I think we'll get into some of that a little more, but there's a lot of different programs and services that our district provides and meets kids where they're at.
Well, something I didn't know about Mr. Blair is the fact he's talking about working 18 years here in Hardin County Schools. You're a Hardin County School graduate.
I am. Graduated in 2000 from Central Hardin.
Central Hardin High School.
Yes, sir.
Former high school quarterback. You know, still got a pretty good wing on him, I think. I think we may try to get him back out there, maybe. I don't know. What do you think?
I feel pretty old today. I don't know.
He says not today.
Not today.
But think about your time at Central Hardin. Think about your last, 18 years of working here for the district. Just want to, share a little bit about your philosophy of education and what got you to enter this profession.
Yeah, so I had a lot of good mentors, especially in high school. Definitely teachers. Had definitely a couple of good social studies teachers that impacted me there to go that route. But I also was impacted by several coaches that I had. And then also had some family members that went into education and who were also role models for me. And about the time I became a senior, I knew that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to work with kids, and particularly the older kids and teenage adolescents. So I definitely was fortunate with a lot of the mentors that I had growing up.
Any coach or teacher in particular that really stands out that you really want to?
So Mr. Sisk at Central Hardin, who actually is still there now, definitely impacted me. And then Mike Lewis and Chris Reed were 2 football coaches that I had that greatly impacted me as well.
I can understand why. You had a lot of good people in your life, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
That's important. With this current role that you're serving in now, you had a lot of roles, it seemed like. You started out teaching and moved to the head of Hardin County High and home hospital instruction. What made you take on this challenge with this position? What made you think, hey, this is what I want to do?
Absolutely. When I first got into teaching, I figured I would teach in my alma mater, Central Hardin, social studies, and coach football for 30 years. Right. And then sometimes, you can hit some adversity and life can throw you a curve. And my family and I went through a really personal struggle in 2011. My oldest daughter, Addison, passed away from cancer that year. And I went back to Central and taught for another couple of years. But I knew I kind of just needed to change. And I'd always kind of gravitated towards at-risk youth, but particularly after going through that experience. And in 2013, Hardin County High opened up. And I really thought about it and talked about it with my wife. And I said, these are some kids that basically, are having some other issues. They're kind of struggling with some life circumstances. And I really think maybe I can help, because I've been going through that.
Right.
And so I took a chance and went out there, and I just loved it, to be honest with you. And got to work for Mr. Eric Valls, and I did that. And then eventually the home hospital coordinator opened up. And again, I loved Hardin County High so much, but that was dealing with kids with illnesses and chronic conditions and
right.
and some things, again, that I also could not only just help the kids, but I could help the parents maneuver through some of those waters. So I decided to take a leap of faith there, took that role. And then when this job opened up as a director of alternative programs, it encompasses all of those programs.
So you thought, why not?
I felt like, why not? And
Yeah.
I do enjoy helping people, whether it's the kids or their families, through some problems, through some struggles, to try to find a solution.
Yeah.
And I get to actually meet the kids kind of where they're at, and I do really enjoy that.
And that's what I said here. I said our focus is always on students. That's what we're about here at Hardin County Schools, helping students succeed, helping students become post-secondary ready, helping them think about what their career could be after they leave Hardin County Schools, like you did. We have a lot of alternative programs. That's what we're talking about here today. You've mentioned some of those early on. I guess the first one I'd like to talk to you about is talk about Hardin County High. How has that program grown, and how does it impact students? You mentioned that a little bit already.
Sure, absolutely. When I was a high school teacher at Central, I don't think a lot of people, even in the building, knew a lot about Hardin County High. It existed for several years.
Yeah.
It was very small. And what it's really primarily for is it's for 4th and 5th year seniors who are at risk for dropping out or who are not going to graduate on time.
Right.
And today we have more and more issues with some anxiety, social anxiety, and some kids just feeling like school may be not for them. And so this program has grown since I've been in this role. And to kind of put that in perspective, in 2013, that was the first year that we hit 100 graduates, which was a big deal and shows the success that it had. And for the last 2 years, we've actually hit over 200 graduates. So we've more than doubled in about 9 years. COVID probably had a lot to do with that. We were able to help meet some needs for the high schools during that transition. But we're just finding more and more students that honestly, they just need help with getting the minimum requirements. Maybe they're having some problems at school, anxiety, there's some health issues that are going on, and we're able to accommodate that.
But when you think about it, all the way back in the 80s and 90s, kids that maybe got to a certain point that, had some tough situations at home, were not earning their credits. They turned 16 back in the day. I'm talking about back in the day. I mean, that's,
yes.
You just drop out of school.
Yes.
And now with, a law where you've got to stay till you're 18, and now we're encouraging kids to stay in school longer. They're struggling in a regular setting, but we say, hey, we've got this Hardin County High option for you. And a lot of them are saying, hey, I think I can do that.
Absolutely. So at Hardin County High, there's several advantages. One of the advantages is we go with the 22 credits is what KDE recommends. And our 3 high schools set the bar higher. So that kind of presents a challenge to some of those kids who get behind. Maybe they move a lot or they've had a life circumstance that's impacted them and they got behind.
Right.
And it's a very small learning environment. We use content-based mastery learning curriculum to meet them where they're at. And to be honest with you, it's very, very successful.
Right. Obviously, with 200 graduates, that's huge for Hardin County Schools. That's huge for those kids and their future opportunity, taking that high school diploma and moving on to another opportunity, whether it be a 2-year certification, whether it be factory work, military. It just opens up doors for them that they didn't know they had. But there's other programs. There's the Excel program. There's home hospital instruction. Talk about a few of those and how they've continued to grow as well.
Absolutely. So the Excel program is, again, one of those programs that's been around for many years prior to me. It is a resource for our teenage mothers. And so our high school counselors identify those students when those situations happen. And basically we have a program over at our College View campus. It's a bridge between Hardin County High as well as a teenage mentoring program for parents. Okay. And so we employ a full-time teacher there. Her name is Miss Michelle Reynolds, who pulls those children at least 2 blocks a day. They get a parenting course. We have a full-time child care on site. So they get to see their child during the day, get to have access to their child, okay? Because a lot of times when that situation happens, that teenage mom doesn't want to come to school because they don't want to leave their child.
Right.
So our district provides a daycare that's there on site so they can see their child when they need to. They get a parenting elective, as well as Hardin County Schools provide special transportation.
Wow.
A lot of people don't know this, that goes door to door with government-approved car seats. And so the mom and the baby get on the bus, come to College View campus, spend the day together, and go home together.
We're graduating kids through that program.
Yeah. So to put that in perspective, again, a lot of these programs have grown, but last year we graduated a record number of students. It was 8. And already this year in January, we have 5 high school graduates. And Ms. Reynolds could attest to this too. If we didn't have this program, I don't know how many of those kids would actually get their diploma.
Right. That's because we're all about kids.
Absolutely.
And opportunities for kids. So thank you for doing that.
Absolutely.
And home hospital, like you said, with the pandemic, with some of the, the medical needs of some of our students, there are certain times they need a little additional support through home hospital. What does that entail a little bit?
Absolutely. So the home hospital is an approved state program. We follow those parameters, but anytime that there is a medical diagnosis, whether it's physical or mental health, there's an application that the parent fills out, but basically we bridge that gap, okay? So it's going to excuse those absences and take some of the pressure off the family for all those doctor notes. Then we're going to contract a teacher out. It's going to provide a couple of hours of tutorial services every week and also serve as a liaison for that family and that student and the homeschool as far as getting work, collecting work, communicating with the school. We have some kids that are on it maybe 3 or 4 weeks with a surgery, something minor, to basically, kids with chronic autoimmune disorders or even cancer, very long-term situations. So it's helped a lot of kids in the district, and some kids are on it for quite a long time. So it's able to keep them enrolled in Hardin County schools as well as provide the educational services and opportunities that they deserve. They're just going through a medical issue at that point.
That's great. So great for the kids and the families. And another thing you talked about, here recently we fired Mr. Chris Reed back. He's kind of taken over our Kentucky Adult Education program. And that's a program, that serves a lot of the area, not just Hardin County, but surrounding area. I'll let you explain that a little bit, but share a little bit of the data with us and what we kind of see from our Kentucky Adult Ed program.
That's a very good point, Mr. Sutton. I think a lot of people probably don't know how much we serve and provide just through adult education and through the GED. When I first got into this 8 years ago, my first year, we were based out of Mulberry Helm, and we just had a contract with LaRue County. Today, Hardin County Schools is the physical agent for a 5-county consortium. So that includes Hardin, LaRue, Breckinridge County, Grayson County, as well as Hart County.
It's based right here.
And it's based right here. Actually, our main campus is housed at HCEC-TV. It's based right here. So we provide service in all 5 of those counties, which also, that just happened a few years back, but that's very pivotal today with the Ford coming in and those types of things. I know that they're really working together very hard right now. But as far as some of the things, so we have a top-notch program. In the past 3 years, we've been ranked in the top 2 as far as GED attainment. Right now, currently, we're ranked number 1
right
in the mid-year, right here in the state. Matter of fact, we used to have 1 graduation ceremony for our GED students. Now we have 4. We break those up because, again, we're having so many students complete their GED. And so there's so many success stories there. And like I said, it's very vital. And a lot of times I get phone calls from that adult that really wants to go back and get their high school diploma. The law doesn't allow it, but hey, we have the GED here, and we're able to go get them and get them served so that way they can go into the work field.
How many graduates do we see a year out of that program? You know the data? You may not know the data.
Typically it can range, but anywhere between 60 and 100.
That's amazing.
Yes.
They're coming back to us. All right.
Absolutely.
Well, all these programs you've been talking about, from Home Hospital and Excel program and the Kentucky Adult Ed and the Hardin County High, you're one person, but you probably have a lot of great people that help you with this. Is there anybody in particular that that you want to mention that really helps make things go and keep things on track for you?
You couldn't have said it any better. There's no way anything that I've just spoken about functions without a lot of people.
Right. So
honestly, it'd be hard to recognize people individually, but let me just tell our audience kind of what we do and how many people we have here. So we have regular certified teachers that work with these students every day in some very challenging circumstances. And I'm very lucky that I have a lot of veterans. I don't have a lot of turnover, and a lot of these teachers have been in these programs for a lot of years. Mm-hmm. And so that's very appreciated. We have instructional assistants. We have attendance clerks. We have school psychologists. We have special ed facilitators. I have an office manager who I share with the superintendent who does double duty. We have a clerk for our e-school program. everybody is part of this cohesive team. And
Right.
like I said, without all of them, none of this is possible.
Not going to run.
And again, I'm so thankful that the district, for one, provides us the resources for that,
Right.
number one. And two, I'm thankful for all the things that they do individually for our kids.
So that was a little unfair question there. You can't just mention one or two people that really make this
Tell
go,
you
because there's
something.
so many people that impact these programs, you know, in our district. So thank you for,
Yes, sir.
you know, mentioning that. And you mentioned the graduation ceremonies, you know, these celebrations, Hardin County High, you know, Kentucky Adult Ed. You said you've already moved to 4 for Kentucky Adult Ed. What about Hardin County High? How many graduations do you have for them?
So again, due to this amount of success we've had recently and the growth, we've actually had to change that as well. So when I first started in this, we were thankful enough to have Central Hardin loan us their gym. And again, we were around 100 graduates or less. With 200, we've been having this at College View campus now for the last 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
We actually do 2 graduation ceremonies. So we do one in December for the fall cohort, and then we do one in May for the spring graduates. And we actually, as a result of COVID, we had to do them individually. As most people know, most high schools did across the state. And one of the feedback we got from our families from Hardin County High is that they appreciated and loved how that was set up. The individualized attention, you could invite as many people as you wanted. They had plenty of time for pictures. And so we've been doing individualized ceremonies in December and May for our Hardin County students, and it's been very great.
So you're saying the parents appreciate it, the students appreciate the opportunity. Kind of brings them all together.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have our own school colors. It's maroon and navy, our own cap and gowns. And like I said, we treat it just like every other graduation. Our board members are present. Miss Morgan comes. And like I said, it's a very big celebration. And I know our staff at Hardin County High and College View, who, by the way, kudos to them because they really set that up and organize it. But I can tell the gratification on their faces when they see these kids that they've been working through, these challenges, and seeing them succeed.
And a parent might ask, if my kid graduates from Hardin County High versus Central, North, or John, can they go on to college with that diploma?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I get asked that question. It's a great question. If I was a parent, I would be asking that question. It's no different than any diploma in the state except for the name on it. It's Hardin County High, not Central Hardin High. The only thing we're changing is the mode and delivery of instruction, and we're going with the minimum credits to try to help get them over the hurdle.
That's great. That's wonderful. If somebody wanted to reach you, to talk to you about any of these programs, where could they reach Mr. West Blair to talk about any questions about Home Hospital or about the Excel program, about Hardin County High? Where can they reach you?
Sure, absolutely. So I am located at the Hardin County Board of Education office there in Elizabethtown. My direct office number is 270-769-8826. You can also reach me by email. And also, if you'll go to the Hardin County School webpage, if you'll click on the link for schools, underneath that there should be a link titled Alternative Programs. And all the programs we've discussed today, I have an individual page for each, so the parents can read a little bit more about what we do, but they can contact me anytime.
Okay, now I know that in your 18 years of doing this, and all your time of working with kids and being part of these programs, I know you can't mention names, but is there any particular success stories that stand out in your mind that you said, man, this kid was here and then they ended up doing this? Does anything come to mind for you?
Yeah, there are so many, which is good. One that I definitely will never forget, even by the time I retire. We had a student on Home Hospital for a few years. He was sick with cancer, and the kid had a tough time, went through a whole lot, and we were able to get his high school diploma. That student ended up passing, but I know how much it meant to him. I know how much it meant to his mom. And there was a lot of good people that worked very hard to help him get through that. That's just one small example.
Sure.
I know without getting the names or one specific situation, but I know myself as well as some of my staff will receive some emails or some phone calls every now and then from maybe a student 4 years ago, 6 years ago, telling us what they're doing, how successful they've become. They've got a family, maybe they have a child, they've got a full-time job, and then they tell us how much they appreciate what was done for them. And we all kind of talk about this every year on opening day, is that when you're working with youth like this, there's a lot of challenges, but you never know what's going to truly stick. And you got to keep giving that effort, and you got to keep trying. The kids got to keep trying. We got to keep trying as educators, because you never know when that light bulb's going to click and what they're going to remember. And those are the little things that I think that keep us going.
It does, because I see some teachers who taught 1, 2, 3 years, and they haven't seen that cycle go where that person gets out into real life, into adulthood, and they make a good transition because of the impact that teacher had on them whenever they were with them. And that's why I encourage young teachers, stay the course. Stick with education, because it will come back to you, tenfold eventually, the impact you've had on even one kid. And if it's even one kid, then it was worth it.
Absolutely.
If it's one kid, it was worth it.
Absolutely. I can't say it any better.
Yeah. So this is, Hardin County Schools, helping children succeed. That's what we're all about. And I want to thank Mr. Wes Blair for being here today and sharing about his programs that he leads here across our district. I can assure you he's a crucial part of our success. And we don't say thank you enough, because we're always so busy doing the work. But thank you for you and your staff and all your people that work within your programs. They're appreciated. And I just want to say thank you for that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sutton. Again, we appreciate your all support.
All right. That's why we're here on Impacting Learning and Empowering Students. Thank you so much. I want you to enjoy. We've got some footage here to show you today of the Hardin County High and the Kentucky Adult Ed graduation ceremonies on here today, so you can see some of the successes that Mr. Blair has been talking about. Thank you, and we'll see you next month.